Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. We're back again today with another match preview video. Yeah, notice how I am still smiling. Tuesday night still hasn't rubbed off with the excitement that I had from them. It's still going. I'm still incredibly pleased about that performance, but looking forward to this Saturday, where we'll be facing Bristol at Ashton Gate, which is a 3 o'clock kickoff in the EFL Championship. Yeah, and for the first time I can say in quite a while, I'm looking forward to an Albion match, which always makes a nice change. But I shan't be getting ahead of myself because there's still a lot of work to do this season to even ensure a positive finish to the campaign. But yeah, today, coming up on today's video, we'll be talking about Bristol City, of course, giving you a bit of an opposition report into their manager, their squad, how they play, and of course some predicted 11s for both sides. You'll get my thoughts on the current situation at West Bromwich Albion, and of course a little bit of a score prediction at the end. Make sure you drop yours in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your predicted lineups, your predictions, whatever you're thinking ahead of the game. Drop them down in the comments and I'd love to hear them. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. And yeah, let's crack on. Let's start talking about Bristol City versus West Bromwich Albion. You're watching the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. For match previews, match day vlogs, match reactions and more, make sure to subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. Let's get started then, starting with the home side at Ashton Gate, Bristol City. Yeah, their season's not been perhaps as rosy as it well, I suppose they haven't particularly had many rosy seasons over the past few years, but they're currently 18th in the EFL Championship. Yeah, it's not been the season for them. Yeah, they haven't been on great form, haven't particularly played well through large parts of the season, and just one of those sides where their form just seems to be so patchy, and there just doesn't seem to be any consistency in their performances. Either offensively or defensively, and yeah, I'm sure Bristol City fans will not be pleased with the way that their team has played this season. I'm not sure what the objective was going into the season, but yeah, I can't imagine that they'd have been pleased with how this season has gone. But of course, currently sat 18th in the EFL Championship. They've only won one of their last 5 games. Yeah, and they lost 2-0 to Barnsley, who of course are relegation battlers at the moment, sort of trying to keep their heads above the drop zone. They lost 2-0 to them last time out. Of course, I'm sure a familiar face for a lot of Albion fans will be manager Nigel Pearson, who is our former Albion caretaker manager. He took over when Brian Robson left in September of 2006. He won 3 and drew 1 of his 4 games in charge. Yeah, I can't say I remember that. I was literally 4 at the time. But yeah, from what I remember, he actually did have a very good record. Well, from what I can see, he had a very good record in charge of the club. So yeah, of course, Nigel Pearson is a very big face in football. Actually managed to, I met the other day the man who called him an ostrich, which was quite interesting. So yeah, he's obviously a big part of sort of, a bit of a footballing fairy tale really in Leicester. Had a part to play in keeping them up in the division in the Premier League before they went on to win that title. Last seen at Watford, I think, before Bristol City, Nigel Pearson. But yeah, it's always for me been known as being a few different people's assistants. I can't remember who else his assistant. He was at Newcastle, but he was an assistant manager at Newcastle back in the day. But of course, was our assistant manager for a short while, and then took over when Brian Robson left. He was his assistant throughout his time at the Hawthorns as well. But yeah, of course, Bristol City not been an appetising sort of asset really in the Championship this season. Not been one for the sort of TV crews to pile around a lot this season. But Andreas Weimann is a player who's really shocked me with his goal scoring record. 17 goals in the Championship season so far. He's been on fire to say the least, and they've done very well to get him firing, and his goals have been very influential. He's 4th top scorer in the league. You talk about these great goal scorers, of course, in Mitrovic, who was absolutely pocketed by our 3 West Brom defenders the other day. But Dominic Solanke scoring goals for fun. Brereton Diaz has been on great form. But then it's Andreas Weimann, who's the only one out of that top 4 not to score a penalty. So yeah, I think he's been particularly impressive this season. I think he's been playing more in an attacking midfield role or a false nine, maybe dropping deeper to get the ball. But yeah, he's certainly put in the goals and has been one of the most underrated Championship goal scorers of all time, to be honest. I remember his spells at Derby. He's had spells at Villa. Of course, did have a little spell at Wolves. I think that was during their time in the lower divisions, of course. But yeah, Villa and Derby had spells at, but Bristol City turning out to be his most profitable goal-scoring career so far. As for assists, he's also joint top of that with 6 assists. He's joint with Antoine Semenyo, who is their second top scorer as well. So them two have been a bit of a deadly duo in the Championship this season so far. But there's some great players in there, and I think that they just haven't managed to, as I said, find that consistent run of form to get them into the top sort of half of the division and try and get themselves up the table. As for stats, as for where they sit in sort of the stats tables, they're 4th in the league for big chances with 59 big chances created, which is quite interesting. But their defensive record is abysmal. 22nd in the league for clean sheets with only 4 this season. 22nd for goals conceded per game, which is 1.8, and first for penalties conceded, which is interesting, with 8 penalties conceded so far this season. Here's what their lineup might look like on Saturday. David Bentley in goal, of course. I think he had a little bit of a part to play in some good goalkeeping the last time I remember against Bristol City at the Hawthorns, which ended 3-0 to Albion. I think he kept the scoreline down quite significantly. I mean, he didn't really have to. There was only Jordan Hugill up front, but he was all right in goal that day. You got Rob Cundy and Rob Atkinson, both some younger centre backs in that back three, alongside Tim Closer, who joined earlier on in the season. You got Cameron Pring, who I think is going to start in the wing-back position with De Silva in the left wing-back position. He's been around the block a while. He's still only 23, by the way. I thought he was a lot older than that. You've got Han Noah Masengo in that centre midfield role alongside Matty James and the young lad Scott in the midfield. Not sure if he was available because he came off earlier on in their game against Barnsley, but not sure if he'll be playing. And then up front, of course, I've gone for Andy Veyman and also Antoine Semenyo. As for Albion, they're 12th in the EFL Championship. We're unbeaten in 3, drawn 1 and won 2. A great performance last time out against Fulham, to say the least. I mean, what a fantastic game that was. Fans all coming together, the players putting in the performance they needed, the manager getting things spot on. It was a dreamy night at the Hawthorns, I think is the best way to put it. It's the sort of performance that I think a lot of fans, including myself, have just been waiting for kind of the penny to drop and us to just see a far more improved performance from the entire side. Every player putting in 100% effort. You had the whole stadium coming together really to support the team and clapping the team off at half time. Of course, if you haven't seen the match day vlog already, make sure you go and check that out. If you head over to the obviously YouTube channel, if you just click my page, it'll come up fairly quickly. But to have the whole ground in support of the team, to have everybody wishing us on to do better and clapping the team off at half time isn't something I've seen for quite a number, probably the first time this season. But we're so pleased to see what was a great night at the Hawthorns. So yeah, I'm pleased that we managed to get the result, and hopefully this can be the start of something a bit new, really, for Albion, and living proof that they've turned the corner. And I'm sure a lot of you guys were really pleased with the performance in that game, and hopefully it leads to better times ahead. But yeah, we've got our fingers crossed for that. Of course, the playoffs, maybe they're not too far away. Only 6 points off the playoffs. Of course, you've got some big games coming up. You've got QPR playing Peterborough on the Sunday. You've got Luton playing Hull on the Saturday. So yeah, those are quite easy fixtures. So wouldn't be afraid if we didn't make any ground upon the top 6 this weekend. But the points, now if you start to win, if you win on Saturday, you do start peaking at the table. And obviously that win against Fulham has had a lot of Albion fans, including myself, peaking at the table. So I certainly don't blame anybody for doing that. But yeah, this game is so huge, in continuing that momentum, continuing the positive performances. That's the challenge for them. We've seen now that if they put their effort in, they could beat any team in this division. So where has that been the whole season? But let's see it now. Let's see it now under a different manager, or a manager who, if anybody, they should respect and be willing to give the chance. But here's what I go for in terms of a predicted lineup. Spoiler alert, it's unchanged. Sam Johnston in goal, back three of Shemi Ajayi, Carl Bartley and Matt Clark was absolutely solid last time out, keeping a clean sheet against the best attacking side in the division. Then Connor Townsend at left wing back, Darnell Furlong right wing back, Jake Livermore the captain in the holding midfield role, Taylor Gardner-Hickman and Alex Mowat just ahead of him, with Callum Robinson and Carlan Grant. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Daryl Dike could be on the bench. Steve Bruce hasn't warned that, hasn't ruled that out. However, I'm hoping to go, if tickets are sort of available and you can go and watch at the Hawthorns, I probably will go and watch the under-23s game between ourselves and Nottingham Forest on Monday night, which Daryl Dike is expected to feature in. So yeah, if that happens, I will for certain hopefully be there and make my way down to the Hawthorns for a bit of under-23s football, but hopefully catch Daryl Dike in action. But yeah, in terms of my score prediction, I'm going to go for 2-0 Albion. I'm confident. I'm hoping that we can pick up a victory, and hopefully this can bring a new wave of positivity after a great win against Fulham. But that's all we've got time for in this Baggies Podcast match preview. Make sure you drop your comments down below. Subscribe if you are new, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.